guys, welcome back to another episode of Diaries of a Working Couple. I'm Jamie,
And I'm Chris.
and ishikaskadigophobia is a fear of elbows.
Can you repeat that?
Ishikaskadigophobia.
How did you find that pronunciation? Is it like phonetically spelled and wherever you found it?
No, I had to punch it into Google and I made it repeat it multiple times. And it's hard because I'm currently stuffed up. In case you can't tell, I've been sick for a couple days now.
But we're dedicated to bringing the best content straight to your listening devices.
Yes, we are. So I do apologize for my nasally sound, and that probably inhibited my ability to properly pronounce that word.
So give it to us one more time.
Ishikaskadigophobia.
I think you pronounced it differently that time. Anyway.
It's hard because
And it's the fear of what?
elbows.
Elbows.
Elbows. It's not a dislike, it's a fear of elbows.
Oh, man. That just reminds me of the video of the lady that's afraid of the olives.
Afraid of olives. I know. She freaks out over olives. I don't get it.
That is one of the viral videos that will live rent-free in my head.
Absolutely. Man, you just don't get good TV like Maury anymore these days.
You know, I almost went to go see Maury because when I went to go see Jerry Springer, I could have gotten tickets for Maury because they film them like one after the other and it's all in the same building.
So why didn't you?
It would have just been more waiting and it was not worth it.
I don't know. I feel like Maury would have been better than Jerry Springer.
Yeah, Jerry Springer is definitely trashy.
Yeah, Jerry. The thing is, I feel like Jerry Springer is like just people pulling stuff out of their ass for quote unquote good TV.
Yeah, I don't know why we went to see it. It was like me and two friends from high school.
Well, I mean, honestly, why not? Like, if you get a chance, you take it.
Yeah, well, we had to drive all the way to Connecticut though. Like it was like we had the dedicated day to go seeing Jerry Springer, but I don't know. One of us just thought it was funny, I guess, and pitched it to the other guys, and we went. But
I mean, it was a good idea. I will give you that.
yeah, we didn't fit in with the audience. I mean,
really?
Yeah, no. the kinds of people that go to Jerry Springer live, just you could probably imagine.
Not your crowd.
Yeah.
No, I feel like you guys would have fit in better at Maury too.
I don't know.
A little bit.
It's all trashy TV.
It is, but Maury is like a step up in my book. It's like you got Jerry Springer, because Maury doesn't have a stripper pole.
Yeah, but
Springer's
Maury is all like, you are or are not the father type things.
Or he brings out your fear of olives.
Okay.
It makes you confront it.
If I could go back in history and go to that live taping, then, I would probably make the drive again. But
That's fair.
If you think about some of these stories with these people that don't know who the father of their child is, it's sad. And there's people cheering in the audience like, oh, he's not the father and he's the sixth person this woman brought in, and everyone's like, woo!
But then it's also, you also have the like, I swear she's cheating on me. That's not our baby. And then she's like,
and
she's
it's
like, no, I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating. And then it turns out that he is the father because she wasn't cheating.
And then do you even want that guy to be the dad?
No, obviously not if he's going to be a POS like that. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Love me some trashy TV.
it is good. Although I do have to say, and I was never like a big trashy TV person because that was on like during the day, right? Like 11 or 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always went to The Price is Right. That was my go-to whenever I was homesick.
I didn't typically watch Jerry Springer or Maury unless there was like two situations when I would stay home from school when I was like older in high school. There's nothing else on TV, so
The Price is Right is on.
You gotta watch what you gotta watch.
Hey, man, Bob Barker, he's the man.
And then
R.I.P.
also when we would go down to the beach, it's like, if you came back for lunch or whatever, what's on TV? Jerry, Jerry, Jerry.
And see, whenever we came back, like at the beach, whenever we were down at the beach, and like Grammy would go up to the room and I'd go up with her because she's like, oh yeah, we'll get a snack and everything. She'd always have soap operas on. So it was always General Hospital, One Life to Live, All My Children, all that kind of stuff. That's always what we ended up watching. But
so we just went to a wedding this weekend.
We did. We went to a wedding for my cousin, and it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. It closed out wedding season for us. We've been in wedding season for the past 2 years.
It's the most dancing I've ever done at a wedding, I think.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen Chris on the dance floor as much as he was.
It was pretty much the whole reception. But see, like typically, if we go to a wedding with your family, either we're sitting with your parents and your dad doesn't dance, really.
No, but we got him out on the dance floor. Dancing Queen did it.
Or we're sitting with both your brothers, which Zach doesn't dance very much at weddings.
He doesn't dance a lot, period.
So then I usually have somebody that I could sit at the table with and sit there and talk to, while everybody's out there dancing. I mean, most weddings I get out on the dance floor a little bit.
Yeah, because I drag you out there.
Yeah. But, I tend to just sit at the table. But this wedding, I didn't have that option.
No.
Only Jake was at our table, and Jake is a dancer at weddings too.
Yeah.
So
he has been called the life of the party.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was at a wedding up in Pittsburgh. And everyone was like not old, but they were like 30s, 40s with kids. They weren't like in the like 20s dancing, I'm just going to rage and have a good time kind of part of their life. And the bride and groom came over to his table and they were like, all right, this is our fun table. Like, we're expecting you guys to like really bring the party. And Jake was like, okay. But like him and the girl he went with, they were they were just out dancing and having a good time. And a couple people called him the life of the party.
Huh.
He's like, that's the first time I've ever been called that.
Interesting.
But yeah, no,
And
Jake.
he was pulling a dom.
That was, let me tell you. So one of my friends was there. One of my bridesmaids was there at the wedding as well. And her husband, that was the first time I've actually seen him at a wedding that wasn't his own. And I've never seen him go off like he did.
He was partying.
He had a blast.
He was grabbing my pants.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to step in there.
Yeah, no, I went up and danced with him as kind of a joke, and then I backed away, and
he did not.
He wanted a little more.
What can I say? You're irresistible. You just have that charm with people.
That's just what happens when I hit the dance floor.
Is that why you don't dance?
Huh? No, yeah, exactly. I got to keep everyone away. I'm your property now. And,
yeah, you are.
See that? I step on the dance floor once, other men are stepping in trying to get... trying to get with me. So
But no, it was so much fun. It was beautiful. I do think it was one of the more fun weddings I've been to in a long time.
It was good.
It was
partying.
It was a very different vibe.
I think that if I didn't have that double at the end of the night, it would have been a lot better. But
okay. Well, how much of the double did you actually drink?
Like half, but it
so
kind of stopped
single.
me from drinking drinking anymore.
Honestly, after the wine we had at dinner, I was just like, I need water and more water. And
Jamie's mom has a rule in her house, which is that none of her kids are allowed to.
No one. None of her kids, friends, anyone, any guests. No one.
Yeah, no one is allowed to throw up at her house due to partying. Intoxication.
I think the only people that are safe from that rule are mom and dad themselves. Since they own the house.
So I go and order a drink because a waiter comes over and asks if I would like something. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just do a Jack and Coke because I'm trying to keep it calm. And then Jamie's like, make that a double.
And he's like, 2? And I was like, no, a double. I don't want one.
Yeah. And then it came out to be like just straight Jack with a little splash of Coke. And it was catastrophic to my drinking of the night.
I'm sorry, dear.
It's okay.
But
But Brian and Megan, they met on Hinge.
what? No, I thought they were Bumble.
Bumble?
Bumble.
I heard somebody yell Hinge at the wedding, but you know what? That makes sense.
I
But
could have
about the
sworn it
whole,
was
she had the
Bumble
message him
because
first.
she had a message that and Matt made a joke about it. So
Yeah.
I think it was Bumble.
Somebody said something about Hinge when we were at the wedding.
Well, I know we were talking about like online dating because I feel like that's just so common now. Like if you think about it, the past 2 weddings we went to, they met on online dating.
I'm trying to think what the wedding was before. Oh,
so it was,
okay, yeah, Karen. Okay.
Megan,
Yeah.
Karen, Christian, McNashley didn't because they met each other in college,
Yeah.
like orientation.
We've gone to a lot of weddings that stemmed from online dating.
We stemmed from online dating.
We attended that wedding too.
We did. We did. Ryan and Jamie
Yep.
were online dating. Trying to go through all the
I think
different.
it's becoming a lot more common now.
It's a lot more common because, well, I think it's because, and this is me just purely speculating, but I think it's a combination between people not wanting to deal with going out to bars and getting drunk and like hoping that you meet someone.
You don't have to necessarily get drunk going to the bar trying to meet somebody, but if you're
But-
waiting there long enough, maybe.
But you know what I mean? Like you go and you're like, okay, I'll go get a drink. But if you're like still waiting to like try and meet someone, you probably drink more.
Yeah,
But-
and
or-
that's not some people's vibe either.
I was gonna
at all.
say that's not. I feel like that's not really much of a vibe anymore.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something more long term.
You know, I was just thinking, like, in my head, and this is a totally random thought that just popped in now, but I'm wondering if we're going to see a trend that will go lower, or like a lower trend in divorce rates with the higher, trend of online dating. Because, like,
Interesting.
take the phrase, there's a lid for every pot,
Yep.
right? And I think that without online dating, there's a lot of people that might settle for a crooked lid.
That's fair.
And then it ends up in like a divorce situation where, like, I don't know, I feel like online dating, you're so exposed to so many people that, like, you might be more likely to find,
Your person.
a more correct match for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is like because of COVID and everything, like obviously there's a huge uptick in all of the online dating.
Yeah.
So, especially not being able to go out and do things, it definitely gave people a lot more time to actually have to talk and get to know each other and like maybe like Zoom date or something or Skype instead of actually going out and like meeting each other in person. Because I feel like once you meet each other in person, it kind of makes things more like real and solid
Yeah.
versus like taking the time over like text and phones to like get to know each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, we figured this week we would talk about online dating because it seems to be very popular. It's definitely something we both had a lot of experience with. Good, bad, and ugly. So yeah, and I know like for me when I first I really had to like hype myself up to even join online dating.
Yeah.
I hated the thought of me being, cuz to me I was like, wow, that's desperate. Like I'm in college, live in a major city. Like I should not have any issues going out and meeting people. But I still did, and I didn't like that. And I was just like, I had to get out of my head, like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I find anyone? And switch to, you know what? I need to focus on taking care of my studies. And if I want to go out and have someone treat me to like a dinner or a cup of coffee and like try and get to know someone, I deserve that. I deserve to like,
I can't say that, you can't say that that somebody's going to come out and treat you, right? That's an old school way of thinking now.
but
You
it's,
shouldn't be going out on the date thinking that you're going to get treated. I don't like that
so,
ideology.
so 9 times out of 10, I would get to the coffee shop first and buy my own coffee.
Okay.
But it's like the thought of like being there and like someone wanting to take the time and like spend time with me and get to know me, like that they were willing to put in the effort and they wanted to come like hang out with me. It was that's kind of like what I had to really like amp myself up and be like, I deserve to feel wanted in some type of way.
See, the reason why I was like kind of triggered by that is because I definitely had at least one, if not more, experiences where I would meet up with somebody from online dating and they don't really seem super interested, but like it was more like it to me. It seemed like they were just like, oh, like I'll go out and get a nice free meal and like
And that's fair. And that's fair. And I'm not saying that I went out with every guy that I like matched with or chatted with and they're like, hey, let's grab dinner or whatever. Like I was very particular. If we weren't getting along, like talking, I wasn't, or like if the conversation died, I wasn't like, oh, let's go grab drinks so I can get a free dinner out of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't very like loose with that. I was like, okay, like, because I wanted to find someone like long term. I wasn't looking just for like hookups or anything like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't why I was on online dating, because I mean, there were a bunch of people in college that had already met the person that they were going to marry and they were talking about all that stuff. And meanwhile, I went to graduate school and that kind of threw off my whole timeline of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be when I wanted to be married and have kids and everything. And it was really throwing things off and I would like start to panic, being like, this is like, I wanted to be married by now. I wanted to be starting a family by now. And I'm still in school. I'm still paying off student loans and like being the planner that I am, it like would really stress me out because I'm like, what if I don't, like my thoughts would devolve into what if I don't get to that point in my life?
I don't like planning for this reason because when you plan, you set expectations, and then if things don't go according to plan, which life throws things all at you all the time, then you just end up with disappointment. Where if you don't plan anything, then there are no expectations, and then you're not disappointed.
Yeah, but I feel like going off that, I feel like you do have to have expectations at some point. Like you say, you don't have expectations, so there's no disappointment. But I feel like if at this point in your life we're like, oh, where there's no expectations, I'm just gonna settle down with whatever girl, and you end up living in her parents' basement or your parents' basement. And
what's wrong with my parents' basement?
there's nothing wrong with your parents' basement other than the occasional flooding.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like if you look at that and would you have been happy doing that? Or would you have had some twinge of regret being like, should I have done something different?
I don't know. I'm not in that situation. So
I know, but that's and my mom always says this, like she said growing up, like whenever we were growing up, she always wanted better for us than what she had growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a really solid thing. Like you want the same, if not better, for your kids, like as a parent. And so like I always wanted to be in a house like my parents had. I wanted to be able to afford to go on vacation and do these kinds of things. And so I know if my life didn't turn out that way, I would have been disappointed in myself for not being able to get to that point.
This is getting deep.
Yeah, I know. But and so like same thing with like dating and all that kind of stuff. It's like I know what I want. I know what I deserve. I don't deserve to be made to feel less than. I don't deserve to be treated like crap. Like I deserve to be listened to and heard and respected with what my decisions are. And a bunch of previous boyfriends did not do that, and it was very frustrating for me because I'm like, I feel like what I'm asking for isn't too much. But apparently it was for the guys I dated. And so going on to online dating, it felt like I had to lower my, no offense, I don't want you to take any offense to this, but I felt like I had to lower my standards just to try and get something that I felt I deserved.
Ouch.
But like you said, there's a lid for every pot, and if you aren't exposed to the right lid, then you don't know what you're missing.
You know, I think that these ex-boyfriends and stuff helped me out because it did lower your expectation on life. Because I remember a time when you told me, you know, how large of a house you wanted and how many kids you wanted. You wanted a Corvette. And then I was just looking at my bank account and seeing how far could this go in the negative, you know. I was like, there's no way that I could give this woman the life that she has in her expectations.
But those are all like pipe dreams. Like, I want a beach house. I would kill for a beach house. But do I expect to have one? No, unless we retire somewhere, like, because we won the lottery.
If I go missing and my life insurance policy, you know, happens to go towards beach house, please look for me.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like, I would love to have a Corvette, a little like sports car, but it's a pipe dream. I want kids. Corvettes aren't really good when you have car seats.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that I like. And
the fact that you reference a Corvette as a little sports car, just like,
okay, listen.
You're not gonna fully appreciate how nice a Corvette is.
Listen, okay. My first car was a minivan.
We can get you a Miata, a little sports car.
I think that's a little too little.
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
I can't actually fit in a Miata and put the roof up because my head hits it.
So I feel like that's just automatically out.
Yeah.
Unless,
Ride with the top down all the time.
Yeah, middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah, Pennsylvania winters are lame anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just buy a beach house, get a Miata.
Yep.
It's whatever.
Living that dream.
But yeah,
we're so far
we're so
off
topic. I'm over it.
All right, I have a way of bringing us back. Okay. So
please,
I have a list here.
Oh no.
Of a bunch of different dating apps / sites.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go down the list, and then we should see whether we were on those or not. And then if we were, let's just give it a little rating. What would you give it as a rating of how your success was on that app, or like if you think that it's a poor experience, whatever.
Okay.
So the first one is Bumble.
Okay, Bumble, for those who don't know, Bumble is a dating site where you both have to match with each other, like based on certain things, but the girl has to initiate.
It's very similar to Tinder because you're swiping right or left for, yes or no. But if you do match, the woman has to match or has to message first. Which on here, it says that this is the best for confident women.
Okay, I was not on Bumble.
Okay, you were not on Bumble?
As we literally just heard, I was not very confident.
So I was on Bumble.
You were. What was your experience like?
I would say it was pretty terrible.
Was that because you didn't get a lot of messages, or because girls had like a one-track mind? And
I would say that I had a lot of matches, and I would say that out of like all the matches, maybe like 4 out of 10 would actually send a message, and then those 4 out of 10 just couldn't hold a conversation. And like, I we can get to this later, but like with Tinder, it kind of showed me that like, I don't know, it seemed like women were expecting men to come up with all these interesting conversation starters and stuff, but then I saw the exact opposite on Bumble. Like, every message I would receive is like, "Hey," and like I don't know, like so we'll get into that later. But I feel like at first it was like, when I first started doing online dating, like people were like, "Oh, like you couldn't give a better line than that," or like, like it's like
Oh, you
women,
got like
it's like
harassed.
women were expecting you to send more than just "hey," but then like after you try and be creative and come up with all these different messages for different people, then like it just starts to get so tiring that you just start sending "hey" and then whatever. So okay, Bumble, out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 5. I just I'm
Just
sure
straight middle of the road.
and yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm like the best looking guy either. So like, I think that like, these yes no situations, like, I feel like, I'm gonna fall in that 5'6" area. So I'm just gonna,
You're a 10 to me.
maybe if there was, a guy that's an 8, maybe he's gonna have a better time on Bumble. But for me, no. Tinder.
Tinder I was on. So Tinder is like Chris said, it's like the swiping yes or no. If you match, then you can communicate. But like either one can send the first message. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah. So it says here on the description for that, best for quick and easy hookups.
Pretty much. So Tinder is,
I think that's what it grew to be. I
yeah.
think that like when it first came out, like there are some people that have met on Tinder and got married.
Yeah. Tinder is not. So when all the online dating stuff started, like you had like eHarmony and Match.com and then Tinder. And eHarmony and Match.com were like long-term things, and Tinder was supposed to be that for like younger people, but it was supposed to be like fast.
I think that because it was like the first app, right? Like everything else was like a website. When you put things on a website and not an app, it's like it's so much of a commitment
Yeah.
to
And
where
you feel
like
so old.
Tinder, it just links up with your Facebook. It pulls photos straight from there. You could sign up for Tinder with one click of a button and then write a small description if you even want to, and then it just all works. And like it's very younger generation friendly.
It is. And that's why I feel like it originally started as like a dating app, like a real dating app, whereas now it has definitely evolved into like hookups. Like if you're on Tinder, most people, I'm not saying everyone, but I feel like Tinder definitely has a reputation now of like quick and easy hookups. Like
Yeah.
nothing serious, nothing long term. I'm not saying that's what it was like when it first came out, but I know like when I joined and as I was on it, that's more or less what it came into.
Yeah. And, I'm not going to judge, but I think that, there's a lot of potential for people to go in with that mindset and then, come out with a longer term relationship anyway. So,
Yeah, and
whatever
there's
works for you.
definitely a possibility. I did not have a lot of success on there because I would match with guys, and the few that I ended up dating from Tinder or like went out on a date with, that's all they would. It was like they just wanted to hook up and call it a day. Like the amount of people I had to like be like, okay, like I'm going home. They're like, I'll walk you home. I'm like, no, I'm okay. Please stay here. Do
Yeah.
not follow me.
I feel like Tinder was like the beginning of my online dating situation. I think that like it made it because everybody was on it.
I feel like for us, like in our like age group, like that was the start of it.
Yeah, and it made online dating less intimidating and less, I would say, like embarrassing or shameful. I don't think it is to online date, but I think that like like how you were saying, like, oh, it's like I feel like it's kind of an act of desperation, like at my age and everything, to do that. But I think that was a good transition to help people get used to the online dating
It
stuff.
absolutely was. But yeah, when Tinder first came out, it was definitely very taboo to do online dating. That was not something you really advertised.
online dating as a millennial, right, or like a
Yeah.
a younger person. I mean, I think that online dating has been successful for people like our parents' age, like when it first came out, right? Like our parents, when online dating like Match.com and eHarmony came out,
Okay.
like like that stuff probably came out when our parents were like 35 ish, maybe 40.
I'm looking up when Match.com started.
Yeah, so like when you're at that point in your life, right? When you're at like 40, and I don't know. That I mean, I feel like it's easier to come to terms with doing some online dating.
Match.com started in 95.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well, my parents definitely did not meet on online dating.
No, I know my
Because
parents didn't, but my parents would have been in their 20s and 30s.
yeah. So
So
like,
yeah.
and then like, yeah. I mean, I think that people got married a lot younger too in our parents' generation.
Oh,
So like,
absolutely.
I think that being 35, 40 area and like online dating came out, like I feel like it was an attractive thing to try and find, a partner to spend time with and stuff like that. But for the younger generation, it was not really a thing until these apps started coming out. So Tinder, what are you giving it out of 10?
Tinder, I feel like I'd have to give a 5 in general. For me, it was like a 3 because it wasn't catering to what I was looking for.
Wow, I'm gonna give it a 7. And the reason I'm giving it a 7 is because of what I said. It helps get people into the realm of online dating. Takes a little bit of the embarrassment out, stuff like that,
Well,
and could set you up with finding a partner.
I was gonna say
in the long term.
I dated one guy. No, I think I went out with him once, maybe once, and then I got harassed regularly by him because he wanted to take me to his parents' beach house in a different state where I had no people I knew around.
Where he would murder you. Yep.
Probably, and I said no, I don't
This
feel
is why you
comfortable
gotta.
doing that. And
This
then
is why it's good you read all these damn horror, murder.
Well, and I told
books
him,
and
I was
stuff
like,
like
I
that.
don't feel comfortable doing that. And he's like, why not? I'm just trying to show you I'm a nice guy. And I was like, well, there's no one around that I know. Like, I don't know you well enough. He's like, you don't trust me. And like, I was like, well, listen, I'm not dealing with all this. But like, it was a regular, like once a month, I would get a message and be like, hey, what's going on? Nothing much. And then he would like try and convince me. And it was a regular thing. And I was just so done with it. So
So that's a good point. Do you we could take a little break from this whole ranking thing real quick, and do you have any safety tips for people that are online dating?
make sure you have at least one or two people who know where you're going and who you're going to be with, especially as a female. Make sure you have not only someone that knows where you're going to be, but hopefully someone in the area. Like if I told my mom like, oh yeah, I'm going to be at this place with this person, if I didn't answer her call, she's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
It's not as helpful. So like I would tell one of my friends from pharmacy school or something like that. I'd be like, okay, this is where I'm going. This is who I'm going with. If I don't, or like, please message me at some point. If I don't respond, like there's probably something wrong.
Yeah, I think
And so
I think any kind of creepy vibes that you get just from messaging before you meet up with somebody.
oh, trust your gut 100%.
Yeah,
If
like-
you don't feel comfortable even messaging this person, if they say something that really sends you off, even if it's something they said like jokingly or whatever, if you don't feel comfortable, don't go.
Yep.
Don't go. Don't feel guilty for saying no. You are a human being. You have rights and you have the autonomy to say no to whatever. No to a drink, no to dinner, no to anything physical that they want to do. And this is going to sound really bad, but always try to make sure you have something that you can use as a defense with you, whether it's keys, mace, a letter opener in the bottom of your purse. I don't care. You always want to have something with you, and then you want to go somewhere that's, when you first meet up, go somewhere public. I know when I would go on first dates with guys, I would always do it in somewhere public, and I would always make sure it was on my turf, like somewhere I was comfortable with and I was familiar with, but it was not like, oh yeah, I live right across the street. Like it was always like close enough where I felt comfortable, but not close enough where like if I was said something, they could like they knew where I lived.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds super paranoid, but like those are some it's a lot of dangers with online dating, and you just really have to, while you're going to have to advocate for yourself, whether you're trying to date someone or trying to make sure you're safe. Like no one else is going to do that for you.
Yeah. I think, you know, it's totally cool as a female or male to take a picture of like somebody's like car when they show up
absolutely.
and send it to one of your friends. You know, and like, you know, some people might seem really nice, but then turn out to be really shitty. So
Yeah. And I mean, if you are able to share your location with someone, if you're able to, that's also very helpful.
That's a good one. If you have an iPhone, you can share your Find My location with a friend for a day. And
yeah, I was gonna say you could do the Find My, or if like you're paranoid because something has happened where you didn't have your phone with you, like get like one of those air tags or a tile or something, you know what I mean, something that'll like help with location. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just
okay. I mean, this all sounds very dark, but
being a female with online dating, it's more scary.
yeah, I'm sure it is, but you know, there's also a lot of good people there.
Oh,
so,
there's a lot of good people there. But I'm just saying, like,
because like that makes it sound so
you have
upsetting and intimidating.
You just have to take care of yourself.
All right, moving on to the next site, OkCupid.
I was on OkCupid.
I was gonna say we talked to each other on OkCupid.
We did.
Oh, and the description for that.
I'm excited for this
random website. Oh, it's CNET. They say that OkCupid is the best free dating site.
I can see that. I did like OkCupid because it was more in depth.
Yeah.
For an app, it was like they had all these different questions you could answer and like rank, and you could see where like your values were versus where someone else's values were.
Yeah, I agree. The profile portion is very in depth. And it asks for like a general description. I think things like education and stuff are on there.
I think so.
Like,
and everything was like optional, but the more questions you answered, like the more in depth your profile got.
yes, and one thing that I really liked, so the profile page, you know, had all these different things, you know, favorite books, favorite movies, stuff like that. And then they had this question section where it asked you questions about family, you know, like things like how adventurous are you, you know, just a bunch of personality type questions, things about your intentions on the app.
Like think BuzzFeed quiz.
Yeah, yeah, and like it would say like, you know, it would have a ton of information, but the only way you could see how the other person answered is if you answered that same question. So it encourages people to answer those questions in order to see the answers from the other people. I think that's a really, really good model. Yeah, the profile is very in depth. You learn a lot about somebody from the profile, which is cool, and it helps you filter out things that you're not looking for.
Yep.
I think there is a matching portion to it too. Like there's like two. I think you could just search in your area and it would literally give you a list of people.
I think you could search, but then it would also search by area, but it'll also search by like compatibility, I think, or it would show you like percentage of compatibility.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a little flawed though. I do remember looking at that and like somebody would be like 98% compatible, and then I would click on their profile, and the only thing they're basing that off of is all the questions that you answered. Well, you know, if this person answered, you know, like 3 questions or whatever, and one of them is, different than mine. That wouldn't make sense for 98% though.
But still, they base it off the questions, and that also asks it, like, that makes you think, okay, when I date someone, do I want them to have the same interests as me? Do I want them to have the same views, or do I want to have someone who will challenge the way I think? Because I know I like that a lot of times Chris and I are on the same page, but I know there are some couples that are like, I don't want someone just like me. I want someone who's going to challenge me and make me think and like live outside the box.
Yeah, I don't, can anybody define what compatibility looks like? Not really.
You can't.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean that algorithm's a little flawed, but overall, I think that that was a super super nice app. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that was the most successful app that I've used for like meeting cool people.
What would you rate it?
Give it a 9.
Yeah.
Give it a 9.
Why not a 10?
Not a 10. I don't know. I don't know if there's a perfect dating app. And I don't know because I haven't used a dating app in 4 years
Forever.
or 5 years now. So who knows? But
See, I was going to give it a 10, but because I met you there. But then I also got a stalker from there, so I was going to give it a 9.
yeah, I mean.
But otherwise, it would have been a 10 because I met you there, so I'm hurt that it's not a 10.
Like I said, there's some flaws in the algorithm, but I can't say that it's possible to develop an algorithm that tells you compatibility. But like, for example, like, it could tell me that this person's 80% compatible with me, and really, on their profile, they could have answered only 5 questions out of like the 300 that they ask you, and one of them didn't match my answer, so that's why they're saying it's 80% compatible. But like, how do you judge that based off of 5 things? So, that's a little flawed. Maybe they should make you answer a certain amount before you're even allowed to use it, and that way, they can. And then like also like, yeah, like you said, the whole like on the same page versus I rather be challenged and stuff like that. Like, some of these questions are like, are you more adventurous or more of like a stay-at-home person? And then like, depending on how you answer that, how are you judging compatibility? Because maybe, you're more of a sit-at-home type, but you want somebody who's adventurous to kind of pull you out and do fun things. So, yeah, I don't know. That's why it's a 9, not a 10.
Okay, it has nothing to do with meeting your future wife on there.
Huh? Well, that's why it's a good one, right? It's a 9.
Good save.
Yep. Barely. Barely. Okay. Hinge. And what Hinge is saying, or what CNET says about Hinge is that it is best for serious relationship seekers.
Interesting. I've seen a lot of commercials about Hinge. Hinge didn't start until February of 2013.
I was going to say I've heard
of Hinge and I saw commercials for it, but I was never on Hinge. I felt like it wasn't a big thing when I was online dating.
I feel like I knew friends that were on Hinge,
yeah.
But I never like at that time I was probably on Tinder and probably on like Coffee Meets Bagel or whatever. Like I was on multiple where like I was like, do I really need another freaking dating app? Like, but yeah, I've never used Hinge, so I have no way of judging Hinge at all. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know if I don't know what apps everyone met everyone on for like different weddings we've been to and different relationships.
Brian and Jamie were Tinder.
I know they were Tinder. Megan and Brian were Bumble. Because I didn't know that but that's what Matt said.
I thought somebody mentioned Hinge yesterday, but maybe not. What about Karen?
I don't know. I know she was online dating, but I could not tell you what app.
Yeah. Anyway, Hinge is like kind of popular, but we both don't really have any experience with it. So
their commercials are cute though.
Yeah, who knows? Next one, Coffee Meets Bagel.
That was the other one that we matched on.
Yeah. Coffee Meets Bagel. They say it's best for breaking the silence. Um,
That I will give that to them. Because when you match with someone or you both decide you're interested, it'll say you're both like, why don't you ask so and so about this? Like it'll pull from your profile something that you might both be interested in.
yeah, and also, I don't know if you remember this, but you only get one bagel a day.
I do remember, and it was really annoying.
Yeah, so like that was the whole pitch to Coffee Meets Bagel is that you have to be more conscious of your decision on whether to say yes or no to somebody because you only get one a day. Um, so it makes you think a little bit more than like Tinder, where you swipe left on somebody, say no to them, and then like you have another 10,000 people in your area that you can look at. Where it might make you think about it a little bit. I know that we matched on Coffee Meets Bagel. Was it? I was gonna say I know. I honestly thought that our conversation happened on OkCupid, which makes me think that we matched on Coffee Meets Bagel first, talked a little bit, and then we matched on OkCupid or like.
That's possible. So the thing with Coffee Meets Bagel is that it will close out your conversation after a certain period of
That's
time.
right. I do remember that. So they, which is, yeah, I mean, it missed with us, right? But
It did.
it is a good concept of trying to progress people out of the app sooner. Like I did have situations where I would talk to somebody for like 2 weeks on a dating app, but it never progressed from there, and we kind of just like either a conversation died down or something, and then it was just over at that point. Where Coffee Meets Bagel, I think they only give you a week or so to talk, and then they're like, well, this chat's closing down, so you can either like exchange numbers or do whatever you want, but like your communication is going to be cut in X amount of days. So it kind of like forced somebody to make a move, if they were interested in pursuing anything further.
And the problem with that for us is that Chris is not a very good texter.
I'm terrible.
So, I mean, even now, there will be times where I'll text him and like the next day I'm like, did you ever see my text? And he's like, no. It's like, wow.
I'm one of those people that have just tons of notifications on my phone at all times.
How many unread text messages do you have right now?
Oh, I think you're going to be happy with this. 13.
Only 13.
Only 13. That's not bad. But if you're talking about my Gmail inbox, I have 9,700 unread notifications.
I'm not, because...
And I have 646 social media notifications that are unread yet, too.
Yeah, that stresses me out.
Yeah, it is what it is. So Coffee Meets Bagel, what are you giving that?
I'll give that one an 8. I did like it. I liked the options. I liked that it was like, okay, you have only 7 days. I felt like it was very helpful with facilitating good matches. And it really did try. I did not like the only one person a day because I'm picky.
One person a day, but some days you would be surprised with a bonus bagel. But yeah, you have me thinking, because I initially, when I asked you what would you give it, I was thinking a 7 in my head. Mm-hmm. I did give Tinder a 7 though. I think it's better than Tinder. I'm not quite at the 8 level yet. I would say 7.5 if I had to.
That's fair.
If I'm allowed. I don't know.
That's fair. I'll allow it.
I guess we make up the rules here,
yeah.
So we're going to go with a 7.5.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Yep, exactly. So that's a 15.5 between the two of us.
But yeah.
Okay, the next one, like these next, pretty much all of them are not going to be ones that we've been on, but we'll mention them anyway. Happen. And it's supposedly for missed connections.
No.
Which that sounds cool.
It does sound really cool.
I know that there used to be like on Craigslist, you could also post in like a missed connections thing.
Yes.
And it was always sad when you look through there. Like, I used to look through there just for entertainment and reading people's stories.
And see, I always did that, but I would always see the ones that was like, to the blonde that farted in the bread aisle at Giant. I know it was so rank and you looked so embarrassed, but you were so beautiful when your cheeks flushed. Give me a call.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, okay.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean,
that was the stuff I looked for.
You know, a missed connection type story is like a story that you would see a movie about, right? Like, it's two people that run into each other and there's a connection there and then later they meet, but...
I do. I will have a question about that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Do you believe in fate, or do you think that we would have still somehow ended up together?
So you're saying that, do I believe that if something was different in life, like if you didn't go to Jefferson, that we still would have met?
Yeah.
I would have to say no.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I do.
I mean, we could have a whole episode on that topic. But
the reason I think about this a lot because you almost went to University of Maryland.
I did, yeah. I applied, got in.
You got in. You almost went to University of Maryland. I could have. I could have gone to school in Maryland, grew up in Maryland, but I came to PA. So, my junior year, your third year, because you did 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Because of the co-ops and everything.
Yeah.
So my junior year, I did a lot of back and forth. Do I do Jefferson? Do I not? Do I do Jefferson? Do I not? Like, I had no intent on being a pharmacist up until the one day I woke up and it was like something in me was just like, I should be a pharmacist. There was no rhyme or reason to it. I didn't see anything. I didn't think about it. It was like, I just woke up and I was like, the universe is telling me I should be a pharmacist. And so that's what led me to Jefferson. Yeah, where we would have been in the same city.
You know,
that's what makes me think about it.
There's no proof. There's no proof either way. But like, to me, it just seems like, you know, it just happened to align, right?
Yes, but and I mean, think about it.
There's no guarantee that if I would have went to the University of Maryland, that you would have not woke up one day and decided that you wanted to go to pharmacy school.
But if you were in Maryland, you likely would have visited your cousins in Maryland more because you would have been closer. And I worked at the CVS like 5 minutes down the road.
Okay, so this is all...
You see what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that this is proof, and I'm not saying that it's not, but it's something I think about a lot because there were definitely plenty of times where our paths could have crossed and may have crossed that we just didn't know about.
Yeah. I mean, it just, you know, depends.
I don't know. It makes me think because I know not everyone has this kind of connection or like overlapping when it comes, but I don't know. It makes me think sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's fate. I'm not saying that.
We'll find out in another like 60 years, you know?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Just because there are so many like, and it's the little things that make me think about like the crossovers where like, in a different life or in a different universe, we may have met just
but it also
in a different setting.
Is very possible that I could have ended up going to Maryland and then you would have went to Jefferson and then you would have met some other guy in Philly.
It's possible, but
what are the odds?
You just don't know.
Yeah.
But it's you know what I mean?
I'm happy with how it turned out. If that counts for anything.
Well, I am too. And that's what the other thing that makes me wonder because, okay, so if something happened and you went to Maryland and I was in Philly or like in PA for college, would I have woken up one day or you have woken up one day and said, I need to do X, Y, and Z?
Probably not because I'm not one of those type of people. It would have been you.
But you know what I mean?
I don't just wake up and make decisions based on what I'm thinking that.
But you know what I mean? Or like, would a job opportunity or would something have come up that would have put you in Philly? Or would something have come up for me that would have brought me back down to Maryland?
Yeah.
Outside of just like going to see my family.
Yeah.
The things. The
The
things.
things and
The
stuff.
things and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I
So
don't know.
yeah,
It's something that I think about a lot.
so happen we don't. Yeah, we don't have any experience with
Nope.
that. And then we'll just quickly run through these because we don't have any experience with any of these. The league, it's for like
Professional athletes. I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure it's like more for like celebrities and stuff. This says for best with people with high standards, but like I'm pretty sure like it's like invite only
Oh,
and
that's
like
weird.
things like that. Like I don't know. I remember hearing about it, but and then her is best for lesbian, bisexual, queer women.
I thought her was a movie.
That doesn't apply to us. Clover, best for confirming a date. Never heard of it.
Nope.
So have no idea. Plenty of fish.
So I was never on Plenty of Fish, but when I was in college and in grad school, I knew people that were on Plenty of Fish.
I shortly had a Plenty of Fish profile, and then I got tired of the emails they kept sending me, so I got
fair.
rid of that. I think Plenty of Fish was one of the first dating apps
I can see that.
because I'm pretty sure, like, I remember, I think Barry had one. I don't know, but like, I had one for a little bit, but zero success,
Zero
and
success.
probably only a week or two of time actually spent on it.
I heard a
because-
lot of issues with it, with like either like scammers or like weird, like really creepy people. So
Match.com. We don't have experience with it, but
No.
they say it's best for someone with money to spend.
well, I was gonna say, don't you have to like sign up for that
Yeah, you
one?
have to pay for it, I think. But I think that and like and then it says
eHarmony.
eHarmony is best for marriage seekers, but I think you also have to pay for
I
that
think
one
you do
too.
as well.
I think you know, I'm not gonna say names, but like my boss's boss met his wife on eHarmony. I'm
Hey,
pretty
I
sure.
mean, listen, if it works,
So is this whole ad like sponsored by eHarmony? Oh no, there's bigger descriptions of each
everything.
one. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so we have zero experience with any of those. So according to our ratings here, I think I mean I didn't keep track of any of that, but I think that we put OkCupid
OkCupid was-
first, then Coffee Meets Bagel, and then Tinder, and then Bumble.
Well, Bumble didn't really have a fair shot because I didn't rate it.
Yeah, and I gave it a 5, I think. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But that's just with what we've experienced.
everybody's experiences are different.
Yeah. I was gonna say I have no experience with Bumble or Hinge, but it's definitely, I don't know. It definitely was nerve wracking getting into the dating scene.
Yeah,
And
I think we could do another episode just on any notable stories from online dating.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think that you know, overall, I think you know a lot of people our age now are probably busier than like previous generations. Everybody's working on their careers.
yeah,
I think that especially like since like I think in my parents' generation too, like you know, women were really starting to be career driven, but you know, like it's just like everybody's so obsessed with their careers and whatever, starting a business, all this other stuff. Like, you know, make some time for yourselves. If you're low on time, online dating might be a good solution for you.
yeah. I think it's good just to get out. It's good to use to like get out and meet people that you wouldn't normally see. But again, if you're like a super social being, you might not need that help.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, might be worth trying to find the lid that fits perfectly
Yeah,
than you know a lid that
The
fits
crooked
with
one.
some crookedness.
some overhang,
Yeah,
but
I'm
Yeah.
pretty proud of you. You got through pretty much this whole episode without many sickness noises.
I know I had a few coughs. I have like a pile of cough drops in front of me. I only had to break one out. Sorry, I just saw Doug walk through our side yard, and I was like, "Who is walking from the back of our house?"
Yeah.
It's our neighbor. But yeah, I have my Sunny D because I don't drink regular orange juice.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about what we're drinking,
What are you
but
drinking, dear?
iced coffee.
Woo whoop.
Woo! With some mocha creamer. It is super good though.
Yeah. Then I got my Sunny D. When we went down to Maryland for the wedding, my mom was like, "What can I get you?" And I was like, "Can you get me Sunny D? Because we ran out."
Her mom was treating her
My
like a
mom was the
princess.
real MVP. Okay, so
I've
mind
never
you,
seen such treatment of a, how old are we?
28.
28-year-old coming home, and her feet are cold, so she got slippers.
Mom gave me. I loaned a pair of mom's slippers.
And
Okay, is that a problem?
And then she ran out and got you a bunch of stuff from the store.
Yeah, she got me cough medicine and she got me cough drops because I meant to grab more cough drops and I forgot to grab them when we were on our way down. The problem is, when we go down to Maryland, we usually take your car and I can't drive your car.
Yeah.
Like, I'm afraid of doing something to your car.
Well, she pretty much did my job and I thank you for it.
Yeah, mom was the real MVP.
Yeah.
She got she made me toast in the morning. And she got me tissues because my dad gets really scratchy tissues. And I don't have scratchy tissues here at the house because I spoil myself.
Yeah.
So she went out and got me non-scratchy tissues and cough medicine and cough drops and a Slurpee. But she also needed a Slurpee. So I just said, hey, if you're going to be out getting a Slurpee, I shall take one as well. But I also told her that she didn't have to because I was going to send you out to do it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, we got to go watch the Eagles game.
Yeah. Go Eagles. If you have any stories, questions, comments, any online dating stories, if you want us to talk about those.
Anything you want us to talk about in general, any questions you have for us. I do want to do a day where or like a recording where it's just like questions, like random questions for each other.
Yeah. So let us know at diariesofaworkingcouple@gmail.com.
Same with any recipes, any cocktails, anything like that. Any love you have for us.
Dog pictures.
Dog pictures, yeah. Little doggo pictures.
And you can DM us at our Instagram at Diaries of a Working Couple. I don't actually have that on my phone anymore, but Jamie does.
I do. I guessed it.
And yeah. Thanks for listening.
See you guys.
See ya.